Hey guys, it's me Nick here. I've been getting a lot of requests lately to make a knife launch tutorial, and I should have made one a long time ago, but I'm just getting around to it now. So today we're going to be showing you how to do one on MW2 and Black Ops. They're pretty much the same method. I'm going to show you different methods on each game of how to do the knife launch, but they're both pretty much the same thing. I'm just going to show you different tips on what not to do and what to do, and basically just going to teach you in general. So we're going to start on crouch on MW2. Go up to an enemy player, make sure they're on the enemy team. Go up to them, switch your weapon. As you're switching your weapon, hit knife. Make sure you have two weapons though, I'll get to that later, but go up to someone, change weapon and knife at the same time, and your knife shouldn't show up. If your knife shows up and hitting him, you did it wrong. It shouldn't show up at all. So come on to this pole, just run at it. You kind of have to run it, you can't jump on it, it's really weird. And make sure you're aimed low, because you're going to be jumping at this, and as you jump, you're going to want your aim assist not to fly over his head, otherwise you're not going to be long. You want the crosshair to be red, otherwise you're not going to be locked onto him. So as you go to run, like push against pole, make sure on MW2 you're always pushing against the slope surface that you're on. Push against it, jump, and then knife immediately at the top of your right. I'll slow it down in slow motion after that, but now I'm going to show you the different method. I just screwed it up right there. So the next method is, I don't like it this much, I never do it, just shoot knife at the same time, and your knife won't register because you're in the middle of an action, just like you're in the middle of an action, like swapping your weapon. Same thing, aim kind of around their knees, do a jump, push against the pole, and knife. Make sure you're always pushing against your target on MW2. I'll get to that in slow motion again. I'm going to clarify a few things up. So as I'm switching a weapon, it's only triangle knife on PS3. It depends what it is on Xbox. Whatever change your weapon is on Xbox. I'm not quite sure. I'm just kind of had like a moment here. I'm not remembering what it is. So as I switch my weapon, you notice how it says one man army. I knife right there before switching weapons. And then right now I have the knife flanked on. Because you're in the middle of an action when you go to knife, it doesn't register that you knife, but it remembers later on when you go to knife again that it'll remember, and it won't, and like the distance will no longer be like a problem. The distance will matter, always work as long as the crosshairs are red. Even when the crosshairs aren't red, as long as you're aimed at them, it usually does work. But the reason why I do triangle and knife triangle is because I have one man army. It's just no matter what, I'm gonna have to change out of one man army anyways. But if I didn't have one man army, I'd just do triangle knife. But since I have one man army, I might as well just hit triangle knife triangle when I go to lock on. But when people say prime the knife launch, what they're meaning is they mean lock on to like someone. But as you see that, I push against the pole, and as I jump, I knife him. And at the top of my jump immediately, and I keep pushing forward just slightly, and I let go, pushing forward as soon as it gets to the top. See, here's another one in Karachi. Get someone to go on top of this building. By the way, the other player just stands motionless. They don't do anything. They just stand there for the purpose of being knifed. But obviously, they have to be on enemy team. Peek around the corner. Make sure you're still pushing against a tree. You can actually notice my character actually kind of like shakes because he's pushing against a slope surface. And then as you notice, I still keep pushing as I jump, and I knife immediately at the top of my height. But you can also get that over that balcony over there if you ever watch my other videos. But anyways, here's one on invasion. Get someone to stand in these areas. Come down here, land on the grass, and then peek out to the side. Make sure you're pushing against the pole and pushing against a tree, not pole. Once again, jump, knife the top of your jump, or knife immediately as soon as you hit the top of your jump, and then you should get up on this. And then you can walk around this ledge. You probably get a lot further from this, but I haven't really bothered because I know all the other areas that are possible, and I know a bunch of other people already know the possible areas too. So let's one on Rust. Get someone on the pipe. Don't, by the way, when it says X to climb up, never do that after you prime a knife launch, because that will cancel out your knife. So don't do that. Jump up normally, otherwise you're going to have to find another way of doing it. Or you can get on that and then get someone to come over, lock on, and then they can run away. But same thing, push against the surface, and then jump knife. Now here's another example on Wasteland. Pretty much any of these poles that make a right angle triangle, you can do it because obviously it's a slope surface, so not really a problem. So go up to someone, prime the knife lunge, do the triangle knife, or swap weapon or triangle. Push against the surface, jump, knife, keep pushing, and then let go. And you should land up here on the top of the pole, and you get on top of the higher pole. Now, for zombies, it's a bit different in some situations. This one I like personally. To prime the knife lunge by doing the exact same thing, swap weapon, knife, and what I like to do is I crouch and go. The way I find out is how far I can go is I look at that tire track and I go to like the space between the tire track, and then I go wait till he's right there and I knife. That's how I find out how far I can actually move, because I tested to see how far I can actually walk, and I tried making like a marker on the ground to tell how far I can go, and then I use it to see how far I can get around the corner. You really have to stick out from that corner quite a bit, and then just basically knife him as he gets about to that point on the stairs where I showed in the video. You can watch it again if you need to see it. So on Call of Dead, like lock onto a Romero or a zombie, doesn't matter as long as it's an enemy target. You can't do it on a team player, obviously. and then come down here quickly before you freeze. Wait till you can see him. It might not be red, the cursor, because it's kind of like on a weird angle, but don't worry about it. Just knife. Once again, this one, you don't really need to be pushing against the surface as long as you're against it. Some of the zombie ones kind of differ when it comes to actually like pushing against the surface and like how you actually do it. But priming the knife lunge is always going to be the same. Swap weapon and knife. It's always going to be the same. Just there's only things you need to watch out for are climbing and actually not knifing. You don't want to knife. You actually want to make sure that knife doesn't show up. Just swap your weapon in the middle of your action, you knife. That way it cancels out what you actually did, and then the game will remember it later on, and then the distance won't matter for your knife at all. It'll just remember that you knifed the target, and it wants to knife that target that it did before, but you didn't see it because it canceled out that action. So once you're up here, you can actually just kind of walk around, and there's plenty of tutorials on the actual these spots. I'm just trying to explain the actual knife in general, but I'll show you anyways that you can run and jump on top of these like set of poles here. And there you go. And then you can walk along here. It's pretty much safe. You don't have to worry about anything. And the last one, Shangri-La, is a bit different. It behaves quite differently for normal knife lunges. So just lock on, prime the knife lunge like you normally do. Just swap your weapon. Make sure you have two weapons, because in zombies, two weapons is important, because you actually need to have that second weapon. So this one's really weird. You can't push against the surface. You have to be really far back, and then you knife. It's really awkward, I know, like, it's just different. Some zombie clips are just different when it comes to knife lunges. Like that one, you can't touch the actual wall. Anyways, hope you guys enjoy this and it helped you, and I'll see you guys later.